What it did do is X2 see me, Mr. Motherfucking Jones, and this is actors who were never the same after a Raw. Let's get into it.
We've all had tough days at the office, but some actors dedicated to giving it their all took their work a few steps too far.
Really, Joker? You gonna do that to me, bro?
Though these critically acclaimed, often award-winning performances are a delight to watch, the experience of preparing for and recovering from these roles did a number on the actors involved and left a lasting impression, not always for the positive. Here are several actors who went the extra mile for their craft. Isabelle Adjani, Possession. Any horror buff knows the subway scene in Andrei Zalewski's 1981 Possession to be one of the most horrifying, shocking moments of body horror ever to grace the silver screen. And if you haven't seen the film, buckle up, you're in for a treat. Isabelle Adjani won a Caesar Award for her performance, but the intense physical and emotional demands of the role made for an extremely difficult recuperation. Adjani later told a French magazine that it took her years of therapy to get Anna out of her system, and that she would never again attempt another role like it. Adrian Brody, the pianist.
Trust me, I know what it's like to have a fucked up mindset. So, ooh. The videos I'm reacting to today are a lot. And yes, that's what she said. No, I should have said they were too much, and then that's what she said. That was a fail. Fuck.
Though Brody's physical transformation for 2002's The Pianist is obvious, the actor has also discussed the enormous mental and emotional strain of portraying a Holocaust survivor, which earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor in 2003.
You know, my experiences of making this film made me very aware of the sadness and the dehumanization of people at times of war.
To prepare for the role, Brody gave up his apartment, sold his car, disconnected his phones, and moved to Europe. But it was the emotional effect of intense hunger during his extreme crash diet that he found the most surprising and difficult challenge to deal with. Brody told the BBC, "I've experienced loss, I've experienced sadness in my life, but I didn't know the desperation that comes with hunger." There were moments when he wasn't sure he'd get out of the experience with his sanity intact, saying it took a year and a half to, quote, settle back into things. Colin Firth, The King's Speech. Colin Firth plays the future King of England, George VI, in the Oscar-winning The King.
Okay, I'm not saying a lot of shit right now because I have not watched these movies. I've heard about that. The hunger will definitely. Nigga, I'm just fucked up right now. I'm fucked up. I ain't gonna lie. Some things that people do in videos are too lifelike to where it just smacked the shit out you with like a nice thick salmon, you know what I mean? Wow, son.
King's Speech, and has to give a number of speeches in addition to a number of other royal duties. The film has a villain of sorts in the form of a near-debilitating stammer that ruins nearly every speech George gives until he hires a vocal coach.
Prince Albert, Frederick, Arthur, George.
Firth himself also worked closely with the voice coach and watched recordings of George speaking to better emulate both his vocal shortcomings as well as his physical mannerisms and nervous tics when stammering. Firth immersed himself so deeply in the role that he admitted in an interview that he still occasionally lapsed into the stammer when speaking casually, even briefly stammering during the interview itself. It's worth noting that this happened in May of 2011, a full 8 months after the film premiered in September of the previous year. Judging by how flawlessly he enunciated every syllable in Kingsman: The Secret Service while taking down thugs with an umbrella in 2014, it looks like Firth has since gotten over the stammer.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That nigga was going to flying fuck off. That nigga did his thing.
Hugh Laurie, House. During the casting process of House, the producers famously explained that they wanted a quintessentially American actor to play Dr. House. Shortly before hiring British actor Hugh Laurie, Laurie apparently got the role because his American accent on his audition tape was so convincing nobody realized he was British. The director of the pilot even pointed to the tape and said, "See, this is what I want, an American guy."
I was expecting you in my office 20 minutes ago.
Really? That's odd because I had no intention of being in your office 20 minutes ago.
Laurie also really
Hey, I fuck with House. That nigga my nigga, bro. I never went to finish watching those series. There's so many TV series I just fell off from watching. I am a fail when it comes to like TV and shit because I just stopped watching shit.
went for it when it came to walking with a limp to portray the cane-using House. So much so, the actor still walked with a limp in 2015 after 8 straight years of pretending to have one on set. Laurie also reportedly attempted to ease the load on his leg by occasionally switching the leg with the limp, something he claims nobody ever noticed or called him on during filming or in the years since the show ended. Apparently, Laurie's acting is so good he can make people overlook both his Britishness and the fact he didn't always limp with the same leg, despite that being a defining aspect of the character. Bob Hoskins, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, one of late.
This shit right here, dog. This is a classic. Young boy watched this movie a couple than a couple times. I meant to say, sorry, fail.
Late British actor Bob Hoskins' most famous roles was that of alcoholic L.A. Gumshoe Eddie Valent in the film Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Hoskins had to spend several hours a day for 8 months talking to and acting alongside cartoon characters who weren't really there.
Scotch on the rocks. And I mean ice!
Hoskins would later note that he learned how to hallucinate that Roger and the other characters were actually there to cope with the dissonance of constantly hearing their voices but never seeing them while filming. When shooting finally ended, Hoskins found himself constantly talking to himself and even hallucinating that Roger was sitting in the same room for months afterwards, prompting his doctor to advise him to take a much-needed break from acting. Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight.
Y'all ready? I ain't ready, my nigga. Well, we gotta do it. Let's do it together. Let's go.
Ledger's performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight was so chilling that it landed him an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Tragically, it was a posthumous award, as Ledger had died of an accidental overdose in January 2008.
Does it depress you, Commissioner, to know just how alone you really are?
In the years that followed his premature death, rumors swirled that the preparation for the dark role had contributed to Ledger's demise. Before filming began, Ledger put himself in a strict isolation, keeping a diary of disturbing images to enter the realm of a psychopath. He sometimes only slept 2 hours a night while filming, according to a November 2007 interview with the New York Times. It was a mixture of painkillers, anti-anxiety drugs, and sleeping pills that ultimately caused Ledger's death just 2 months later. Charlie Hunnam, American TV and movies. Charlie Hunnam has played everything from a soccer hooligan to a giant robot pilot.
And you already know, one of my, I got a knife. I got a Machete Jones that, you know what I'm saying, when I told that bitch, they called me the Black Jacks, you know what I'm saying, this man's why I want to get a Harley, you know what I'm saying, he's the reason why I had, my angels together, you know what I'm saying, let's let the nigga talk.
Pilot, and he's known for his extraordinarily convincing American accent, making him one of a handful of chameleon-like British actors able to convincingly pass as American in his various roles.
You rescued her. You raised her. You're not protecting her now. You are holding her back.
Years of living in the States, however, took their toll on Hunnam's actual real-life accent, and when he appeared on TV in 2013 to plug a movie on Conan, he spoke with a bizarre amalgamation of various American dialects that prompted confusion and mockery, especially in Hunnam's native UK.
I went out just as he was rounding the side of the house, and he stopped, and I looked at him, and I said, "So we got business, mother?"
Hunnam spoke about this in 2017 when he admitted that his accent, or lack thereof, had gotten so bad that when he signed on to star in King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, he had to hire a dialect coach to relearn how to speak with an English accent.
The first time in my career, my name was above the title. It said, Charlie Hunnam, boom, King Arthur. I said, here we go.
Janet Leigh.
You ain't gonna show no motherfucking Sons of Anarchy joint in this motherfucker. Come on, man. Y'all niggas whack. Whack.
Psycho. Academy Award-winning actress Janet Leigh is known mainly for one role, playing the character who gets stabbed to death in a shower early on in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. The scene terrified millions, including Leigh. After filming R.I.P, she never felt comfortable in a shower again. In interviews, Leigh noted that she stopped taking showers after watching the scene.
I still don't take showers. That's the truth.
On the rare occasion she had to take a shower, she would only use it briefly while staring directly at the door, and she wouldn't even draw the shower curtain. James Cromwell, Babe. James Cromwell is the kind of actor whose appearance is so distinctive most people know his face, but not his name. He scored one of his few leading film roles in 1995's Babe, in which he was upstaged by a talking pig, but it all...
I remember that shit, bro.
worked out, given that it was not only a massive hit, but it changed Cromwell's life, turning him from a guy who occasionally flirted with vegetarianism into a vegan. Cromwell has called the experience of making the film a turning point in his life, recalling in an interview with Vice that he was profoundly affected by seeing a small piglet react to being put onto a patch of grass. He said, quote, "When that little pig was put down on that big pitch and saw the blue sky and the green grass and the sea, that pig just took off and said, I don't want any part of this. I'm out." Cromwell has been an ardent supporter of animal rights ever since, especially pigs, which understandably now have a small place in his heart thanks to Babe and its sequel, Babe 2, A Pig in the City.
I know that I'm aware of their suffering, and I know that I have an obligation to talk about their suffering and to do something about their suffering.
Christopher McDonald, Happy Gilmore. Christopher McDonald isn't exactly a household name, but his performance in Happy Gilmore is so memorable that generations of filmgoers can't.
Hey, who remember Happy Gilmore? You know what I'm saying? This nigga went stupid, nuts, ape shit balls to the wall, dog.
Look at a picture of his face without blurting out, "Hey, it's Shooter McGavin." That's just one role out of many in a solid career, but it looks like McDonald doesn't mind being forever associated with a hot-headed golf pro. McDonald told the AV Club he took the role basically because he enjoyed playing golf, and won a tournament shortly after being offered the script. He was hesitant at first, saying he wasn't eager to get back on a film set after shooting 2 movies back-to-back, but being paid to play golf and hang out with Adam Sandler seemed like a pretty sweet deal. According to McDonald, his golf game got sick, since he played for 5 hours a day, 6 days a week while filming, and as an added bonus, now that he's synonymous with Shooter McGavin, he basically gets to play golf for free for the rest of his life.
That's real. I need to. Can I be in a movie where I play video games? Get paid to play video games? Okay, that ain't gonna work right now.
Damn you people! This is golf! Not a rock concert!
Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube.
That's a legendary moment in motherfucking like missed movies, my nigga. But yeah, we're gonna keep this one short and sweet, nigga. It's actually see me roll to 500 subs. We out this bitch. Boom.